It's Wednesday. Good morning. Welcome to Good Morning Uganda. Now, yesterday, different officials, about 9 of them from the Ministry of Finance, were arrested in connection to the bank heist at the central bank. It should be remembered that over 60 million was stolen from the Bank of Uganda coffers in just 60 seconds or even less. So now they have been arrested by the CID, and we will know more details regarding the same. That being said, welcome to Good Morning Uganda, where we inspire you but also inform you and also have topical discussions with opinion leaders and policy makers, and also share our own perspectives regarding what is happening in the news in our news bill. And later on at 8, we normally have opinion leaders that come on the show and share their perspectives regarding different issues that are impacting our society. So this is the best decision you've made this morning, being a part of us here on Good Morning Uganda, and we don't take that for granted. Now, today is Wednesday, and on Wednesday we normally crash on women. So which women are we crashing on today? Today I would like to crash on every single mom out there that has managed to take their child to school this week or last week. It's no mean feat what you do, supporting a family without any help whatsoever, but you do it anyway. So today, any single mother, whether you're educated, not educated, whatever you're doing in corporate, informal sector, we crash on you today. It's a beautiful thing that you do. So Women Crash Wednesday goes out to you today. We see you, we hear you, and we pray for you. That being said, I am with Jerome Paul Sonko and Chirabo Robert Nyonyintono, and my name is Olive Monica Najuma. Good morning.
Well, good morning, Olive, and good morning to our dear viewer. Thank you very much for waking up with us always as we inspire the mornings that get your day started. It is always important, like I normally say, to wake up with information, because information is a huge driver for how your day moves forward. And you've mentioned something to do with our Woman Crash Wednesday, and today my attention goes to the justices of the High Court, and that is following the Supreme Court ruling last week, where we had quite a number of female justices amongst those that were coming up with that ruling. That was between the Attorney General and Honorable Kabaziruka, if I'm to remember so well. That name normally disturbs me. Kabaziguruka, exactly. So that particular ruling, I did see quite a number of Ugandans paying attention to the justices, the female justices, and I wouldn't want to, mention out the names, but there were quite a number of them on board. However, many of them were paying attention to, let's say, Justice Bamgemerere,
yes.
But however, there were quite a number of them on the panel, and this drove me into realizing how important it is to have so many people involved, especially women involved in these higher spaces, not only in the law but also in political disciplines within the country. So to all the women practicing law in Uganda, I am crushing on you this Wednesday.
Oh wow, that's very beautiful. Which story has stood out for you this morning, rather from last night or across from when we were here till 9 a.m. Then overall during the day, in the last 24 hours basically?
Well, the big one is the one regarding the bank heist, the Bank of Uganda heist that happened last year, and many people have been questioning the government on when they are going to start with the investigations or when they are going to hold those responsible accountable. However, it does seem like over these past few months, government has been working behind to ensure that they crack down. And the first crackdown found 9 individuals involved in the bank. So the investigations are continuing, but at least they have 9 people. According to the information we are getting, the CID already has 9 people in the coffers. So we wait to see how many are added to the 9, or whether the 9 are the people who are behind the entire heist that led to a loss of 60 billion Ugandan shillings under 1 minute.
Under 1 minute, and 60 billion Uganda shillings is an equivalent of $16 million. So that's quite a huge sum of money. Robert Chirabo Nyonyintono, good morning and welcome today I love to see you every single day, because this thing that we do, waking up with Ugandans, it's no small feat, but we do it anyway. So how are you?
I'm sipping on my Ugandan coffee.
Robert, are you sure it's Ugandan coffee?
I'm here to promote consumption of coffee. So
okay.
Ugandans must learn to take coffee, because majority of the coffee we grow actually is not sold here. So it takes me, what if we have COVID-20 something? And where will we send our coffee? So I promote consuming coffee. Wake up, buy that cup of coffee. Only that when I see the various campaigns of coffee, I'm left behind. I heard there was good money injected in people.
So are you promoting Ugandan coffee for your own benefit, or because it's actually a good product?
Now I'm promoting it, one, for the farmers, because I hear people talk of the golden days of coffee. We are educated because of coffee. So I want to see that glory back again, and more so when that coffee is taken and grown in Uganda. So I'm part of the Bubu campaign, Buy Uganda, Build Uganda. Now, tomorrow is the 44th Terehe Sita anniversary. And for me, I choose to crush on all women in the armed forces. It's not very easy carrying that gun when we are sleeping or when we are dancing and someone is out there and it's a lady, to ensure that this country is safe, to ensure that you, Sonko, and I can leave our homes at 4 and get here peacefully. So I choose to crush on you ladies. You do a very great job. The story that stood out for me, Olive, yesterday was Uganda Bureau of Standards going downtown and finding people. I don't know if Ugandans, we are very crafty, we are very smart, or there is so much of moral decadence that we're altering rims. Now you buy a rim, you reach school, they tell you, let's check and see, but this is half of what it should be. Or the packaging is another type of paper, and the papers inside are not. So a good job was done down there, but it speaks a lot to my mind. One way to say, even rims. I was just like, no.
Well, sad state of affairs indeed. Looks like as the cost of living goes higher, people find back doors to make a buck or two, which is really sad, because ideally we should be straightforward. But if you look at Ministry of Finance officials being in a bank heist, one wonders, where does that leave common Ugandans? I think the road sometimes is indeed
Are you being a devil's
from
advocate?
the top.
Are you being a devil's advocate?
I'm not being a devil's advocate, but I'm just trying to look at different sides of the coin, because if we are losing money in a minute, do you expect that Uganda, a picture that is being set by those on top does not really encourage those at the bottom to do the right thing? We should all do the right thing. And speaking of the right thing, Robert, why don't you share with us what we have in the news for our viewers today?
Let me begin with good news. Now, the Prime Minister, Robin Nabanja, officiated at the groundbreaking ceremony of the state-of-the-art hospital in Naguru as part of government's commitment to addressing heart conditions in the country. The Premier, who was representing President Yoweri Museveni, emphasized that the facility will advance training and research in cardiovascular medicine. The state-of-the-art heart hospital in Naguru will feature 3 operating theaters, 2 labs, and an outpatient department general ward, and a 250-bed capacity. It aims at improving affordable and accessible cardiovascular treatment while reducing the need for referrals abroad. Uganda faces an increasing prevalence of non-communicable diseases, with 1.6 babies born every year with congenital heart defects and 1 in every 4 adults living with hypertension. This rising burden prompted the government to invest in specialized cardiac care. Minister for Health, Dr. Jane Ruth Aceng, reaffirmed government's commitment to enhancing health care in Uganda. The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Health, Dr. Dana Atwine, emphasized the need to strengthen and prevent cardiovascular diseases. The ambassador of Saudi Arabia to Uganda, His Excellency Mohammed bin Ali, allowed Uganda for this achievement, saying it is a beacon of hope to to patients with heart diseases.
The judiciary has held the 26th annual Judges Conference in Kampala, where the Chief Justice Alfonso Owini Chigamoidolo urged judicial officers to desist from corruption while embracing innovation. At the conference, the Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among, delivered the President's message urging Ugandans to embrace patriotism, Pan-Africanism, socio-economic transformation and democracy, which are the core principles of the NRM. The Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among, represented the President during this conference, which was held in Kampala. Now, the conference aims at reflecting on justice, law and order sector and its performance, and also sharing perspectives on the role of the judiciary in socio-economic development. The Chief Justice Alfonso Owini Dolo cautioned judicial officers against corruption and impartiality to uphold judicial principles. President Museveni's speech focused on the ideological principles of the NRM government that aim at developing the country. The President further stated that the NRM principles were initially not embraced by Ugandans, but were embraced after a while, hence ushering in a strong UPDF. Now, the 26th Annual Judges Conference was held under the theme Positioning Uganda's Judiciary to Contribute to Social and Economic Development.
Moving on, the Attorney General Kiryowa Kiwanuka has assured Parliament that government will implement the recent Supreme Court ruling against trying civilians in the military courts. This follows concerns from various litigants who cited delay tactics in the matter and demanded a detailed schedule for how the Supreme Court judgment will be implemented. The interpretation of the recent Supreme Court ruling is clear. The Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Thomas Tayewa, invited the Attorney General in the chambers to clarify on the issue. However, some MPs were not convinced, as the Attorney General was a litigant in the case. The Supreme Court exposed the illegality of the court-martial to try civilians. This comes at a time when some civilians, including former FDC leader Kizza Besigye, are victims. The controversy deepens as the government awaits clarification on which victim files are to be transferred to the courts, as ordered by the Supreme Court. The legal team, presenting Dr. Kizza Besigye, led by Kenyan lawyer Martha Karua, is actively pushing for a detailed schedule and the government's position on implementing the Supreme Court ruling. The team spent part of their afternoon at Ruzila Prison interacting with prison authorities to discuss the way forward. Despite a recent letter on social media from President Yoweri Museveni disagreeing with the Supreme Court ruling, the Attorney General Kiryowa Kiwanuka assured Parliament that government has decided to respect the ruling accordingly.
And lastly, from our local news, effective from March 1st to March 31st, 2025, all leaders falling under the second and third schedules of the Leadership Code Act, Part A and Part B, will be required to declare their income, assets and liabilities to the Office of the Inspector General of Government. Now, this was revealed by the IGG Betty Kamya during a press briefing at the Media Center in Kampala. The Leadership Code Act, Cap 33, mandates specified leaders to declare their income, assets and liabilities to the IGG every 2 years in the month of March. However, the public officers who are not leaders are required to submit their declarations every 5 years, with the next submission due in April 2026. Now, the category of the specified leaders falling under the second and third schedules, Part A and B, who will be required to declare their assets, income and liabilities this March, includes all political leaders, such as the President, Speaker, Members of Parliament, heads of political parties, specified officers of the judiciary, ambassadors, among others. Now, since 2017, the IGG's office has been receiving online declarations, and the compliance rate has progressively increased from 85% in 2017 to 90% in 2023, and the individuals who failed to meet this constitutional obligation in 2023 were prosecuted in the Leadership Code Tribunal. Now, penalties such as dismissal and confiscation are further expected again this time. Now, inadequate staffing in the IGG's office and late submission of declarations, however, do continue to hamper the process. The IGG notes that the public vigilance is crucial in identifying individuals illicitly owning properties.
And away from that, U.S. President Donald Trump says that the United States will own Gaza in a new redevelopment plan. United States President Donald Trump has said the U.S. will take over and own Gaza after resettling Palestinians elsewhere under a redevelopment plan that could see the enclave become the revealer of the Middle East. In a shock announcement appending decades of U.S. policy towards the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, Trump said on Tuesday that his administration would spearhead an economic development plan in the enclave that would supply unlimited numbers of jobs and housing for the people of the area. The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip and will do a job with it too, will own it, Trump said at the White House on Tuesday after talks with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, adding that Washington would be responsible for clearing destroyed buildings and dismantling dangerous unexploded bombs and other weapons. Trump said he envisioned the U.S. taking a long-term ownership position over the enclave. This was not a decision made lightly. Everybody I've spoken to loves the idea of the United States owning that piece of land, developing and creating thousands of jobs with something that will be magnificent, he said. Moving on, police say around 10 people have been killed in a shooting at an education center in central Sweden, including the suspected gunman. Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson described Tuesday's attack at Risbergska School in Örebro, 200 kilometers west of the capital city Stockholm, as the worst mass shooting in Swedish history. Police say they believe the male perpetrator to be among the dead and he was not previously known to them. There was no immediate identifiable motive and he was believed to be acting alone, they said. It is difficult to take in the magnitude of what has happened today, Kristersson said at an evening news conference. Police say around 10 people have been killed in shooting at an education center in central Sweden, including the suspected gunman. Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson described Tuesday's attack at the school in Örebro, 200 kilometers, which is 124 miles west of the capital city Stockholm, as the worst mass shooting in Swedish history. Lastly, 5 men have been sentenced to death by hanging in Nigeria's Kano state for the 2023 murder of a woman they accused of witchcraft. The convicted men attacked Dahari Abubakar, aged 67, as she was working on her farm, beating and stabbing her to death. Miss Abubakar's family went to the authorities and the suspects were swiftly arrested in a village 45 kilometers from Kano, the largest city in northern Nigeria. The case gained attention across the country and raised discussions over how people in rural areas continue to be murdered following witchcraft accusations. The ones who make the claims without any proof believe that those they accuse are responsible for either a death of a family member, sickness, or misfortune. Giving his ruling, Judge Usman Naaba said the prosecution had proven its case against the 5 men beyond reasonable doubt. The prosecutor, Abbas Arondiki, said he hoped the judgment would deter others from making wrongful accusations and then taking matters into their own hands. Well, that does it. Now let's have a look at the press review.
Well, the New Vision writes why the Accountant General was arrested, and this is in regards to the Bank of Uganda theft at the front page. There's also a pictorial of the same, and the New Vision is giving you details of that in today's cover of Wednesday, the 5th of February. But then also, still with the New Vision, you can find out 8 other officials have been detained, according to what the New Vision is writing. And then in matters court-martial, the Attorney General's response to court verdict, that is also in today's New Vision. Now, the Tarehe Sita, how I smuggled Muhozi and Natasha to Kenya. Find details of that in today's New Vision. Then Vision Group launches the Harvest Money Expo for 2025. More of it is also with the New Vision today. Now, away from the New Vision, we look at the Daily Monitor. Hunt for vultures inside the Bank of Uganda vault. Now, interrogation. The Criminal Investigation Directorate detains at least 9 Ministry of Finance officials to assist with the investigation into the theft of billions of shillings at the Bank of Uganda last year. More of that is with the Daily Monitor. Now, police officer who dressed and lived like Queen Elizabeth. Who is that? Find out more in the Daily Monitor. Now, in the Home's perspective, the role of the diaspora in Uganda's real estate market, and what Anthony General told Parliament on Besigye. Then, road to 2026, Amongi takes on Achieng in battle for the soul of Lira City. Now, away from that, in Kenya, the Daily Nation, Trump is U.S. aid freeze to leave 35,000 jobless. America fast. The situation threatens to unravel decades of progress in the Kenyan health sector, where U.S. aid has been a key partner. Now, in the queries, as Waititu takes over Kenya Kwanza Party, and then we'll bring back the 5 abducted chiefs safe and sound, says President Ruto. Now, Ruto's aides fight back in Sioux over spying software, as there is also a report on how 20-man mission to strike gold ended in tragedy. And then elsewhere, the Treasury now seeks to avoid Gen Z wrath on 2025-2026 finance bill. Then lastly, from our press review, The Citizen from Tanzania, will the Dar Summit finally end protracted conflict in the DRC? As the East African Community and the Southern Africa Development Community prepare for a joint summit in the Dar es Salaam this weekend, the focus is on whether the high-profile meeting will yield a breakthrough in the long-standing conflict in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. At the front page, you can see 2 faces looking at each other. One is Paul Kagame, President of Rwanda, and Felix Tshisekedi, the Democratic Republic of Congo head of state. Now, at the front page, you can as well see those that will be participating in this particular summit. William Ruto, Kenyan President and EAC Chair. There is President Yoweri Museveni. There is Evariste Ndayishimiye, Burundian President, Tanzanian President, and host of this particular summit, Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, and then Emerson Mnangagwa, who is the Zimbabwean President and SADC Chair. Now, why Samia has chosen for maternal and child health global, why she was chosen for maternal and child health global award, find the details in The Citizen. Now, in matters adaptation, how the insurance industry can drive energy shift in Tanzania, giving you details of that. Now, also, DAT is seeking IFC help to find new BRT operator, and that is all we have in our press review this Wednesday.
Well, we will take a short break, leave you with the inspiration song of the day. We'll be right back. But before we even take the short break, have you checked to see if the ream of paper you're buying is actually the right ream of paper? Is it the quality of paper that you should be taking to that school? So much more regarding that will be coming up next in our newsreel.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda. Morning Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC.
Every Wednesday, 10 p.m. on your public broadcaster.
Was brought to you by
I'll call you every day, yeah, yo, baby, don't know.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks. Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000 or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21# and select daily or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
It is time for our news brill. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Olive Monica Najuma alongside Joram Paul Sonko and Chirabo Robert Nyonyintono. Now, Uganda National Bureau of Standards uncovered a major counterfeit paper operation in Kampala, and over 4 people were arrested, according to the National Bureau of Standards, in a decisive move to tackle the growing issue of counterfeit products. They arrested 4 individuals for distributing over 500 boxes of fake rims of paper in downtown Kampala. Now, it's time for children to go back to school as we officially reopen schools in the country on Monday this week. But when you're taking children to school, you are expected, among others, to take a rim of paper. Every school requests for one. And now parents are finding themselves having the rims they have bought. Remember, rims are not cheap, and they're being rejected by schools, citing that they are fake or they're not of good quality. This is why we are having this conversation today. Robert, I'll come to you first. First of all, when Uganda National Bureau of Standards went downtown Kampala, what exactly did they find?
Thank you, Olive. Now, first, this operation followed parents who had taken back children to school, and the schools rejected the rims they had brought, telling them, actually, this is not what we asked for. If, for example, the brand is Olive, now schools know that Olive, that brand has quality papers in terms of photocopying, typing exams, and everything. And they know the size or volume of the rim. Now, a parent goes, hands in everything, you know that procedure of ticking what you've brought. So schools were wondering, if you say you've brought Olive and another parent has brought Olive, yours is very light, maybe even longer, and yet with fewer papers. So the parents raised concern, and they were telling them, but we've not made these rims. We've bought them from genuine places. So this prompted some of the parents to make an alarm to the institution you've just talked about that moved in swing because they had the information of where even these rims are bought. Now, this is what happened yesterday, and Olive, I find this very funny. When traders downtown discovered that Uganda National Bureau of Standards officials had moved in, majority of them closed their shops. Majority. Once they were told, now what does that signal?
So
First,
they knew they were selling substandard goods.
yes. So they closed shop and began being as if they are bypassers. They're not even part of their shops. Locked them seriously. Now, those that delayed to lock, because this was an intelligence-led, like I buy something from you and another, so they were specific which arcade they were targeting, which shops they were targeting. But they said that they were only able to at least enter into 5% of what they were supposed to go into, and that's where they made that discovery. So first shocking me was, if you're selling quality, why would you send these people and close? Yet you know this is not URA per se, that's about revenue, but this is the body that looks at standards. I think it also helps you. Now, second, what they discovered, that these rims are not imported in the country. They are altered here in Uganda, because we would say, well, how come they enter the country? Because Senegalese have said, how come URA allows such to come in the country?
So when you say altered, are they made here, and then what exactly? Please paint the picture
so this is what they do. They'll get a cover, they'll go and print some cover of a particular rim that they know schools recommend so much. I don't want to mention brands, but we know there's a particular rim that sells so much, that particular brand. Now, they go wherever they go to. Usually use the word Nasa Road, but I don't want to say it's where they go, just because it's common knowledge. Now, they go there and they design that particular packaging from that particular place, maybe. Now, they come and get another rim that may not be of the quality of that particular brand you want.
And my question is, that other quality they are getting, is it made here, or it is smuggled into the country?
I don't want to be so certain, because I didn't investigate to that level.
Okay.
But because the other one says it's 45,000 and this one is 25, so they'll unwrap the other and pack it in another brand. The other thing they do is they'll get that particular brand of rim that parents and schools prefer, then they'll remove papers. For example, it's supposed to have 100. They'll keep on, if you have about 20 rims, so in each you remove 50-50, you know? That will mean now you have, instead of having only 20 rims of that, because you've been removing some papers, now you have about another extra 10. You get it? Another extra 10. So if you're selling each of that particular brand 45,000 and you have genuine 20 rims, but from each rim you've been able to remove some papers, so they end up making another 10 rims. But remember, the amount of sheets in this rim has reduced. So when you take it to a school, they'll just lift and, but Mwami Nyonyintono.
So Robert, what methods have these traders been using to supply these rims across the country?
Well, they've just been putting them in their shops. Now, when they put in their shops, parents come and buy. Some come and buy in huge numbers to take up country and sell in various bookstores and various shops that sell stationery. So parents come. So they do it within Kampala here. They do their packaging. Then they bring in sales. So for you, you come, you buy genuinely. And that's how they have been fleecing. And schools discovered, because according to some school authorities, they've said these rims, one, some of the papers are not papers they use for printing, because they disturb the photocopying machines. They're either very heavy. Now, when you bring that particular rim, they ask that they will help them type exams. When they open, they find another type, which they don't actually use. Then others, when school believes that if every child brings a rim, it can take us through a term. Now, if your rim is not to standard, then the school budgets that this will take us through the term, only to discover that actually the rims are not taking them through the term, and they get to analyze why isn't this happening, only to discover that the rims have less sheets than they should be containing.
Thank you so much, Robert. Now, Jerome, let's have a look at counterfeits broadly, even away from the rims themselves. What would you say are the adverse implications of having counterfeits penetrate through our economy, the merchandise that we sell? What would be the adverse implications for that?
In 2009, the New Vision wrote around July that Uganda was leading in counterfeit products. on the East African community market.
Really?
Now, if you to draw back, those are about not so long ago. It's more like 14 years. So then the efforts have been growing to put an end to counterfeit by the UNBS. Why have I started with that New Vision report? Just to show you how far we've come. And the unfortunate bit again is that in East Africa, we are like the only country that is yet to establish an anti-counterfeit law that is supposed to be active. We've been having an anti-counterfeit bill 2023, and then that did not come to pass. Last year, the Speaker to Parliament around October did reveal that they're going to speed it up to ensure that they protect businesses and, of course, Ugandans. Now, when you look at that background of everything, the impact counterfeit or fake products have on many of the Ugandans. One, on the side of consumers, you would not wish to spend money onto something that is not going to give you the benefit of what you wanted to get from it. Now, in this situation, for example, when you look at the students or pupils going back to school, and the school administration is always asking for a ream of paper every other term. Imagine you're supposed to bring a rota trim, because that is like what is known as the standard of the ream of paper that you're supposed to take, and then you take a ream with less papers, not to mention with quality that does not meet the standards of the papers being used to print out exams at school or to be used for circulars, what have you. Now, when you look at the effect it has directly, first, it is not helpful on the side of businesses that are dealing in genuine products. In fact, many of the businesses in Uganda today are highly affected by counterfeit at the equal measure of that of a consumer or an individual who wants a product, because
even the business is losing clients.
Businesses are losing clients, and many of them are dealing in the same products. Because, for example, a case in point, in 2009, one of the businesses that had been highlighted losing money at the time was Nice House of Plastics, because there were quite a number of plastics on the market that were having their encryption, and yet they did not belong to Nice. So they ended up losing clients and customers, because the people who were selling the counterfeit products or the fake products that were showing that they were from the brand Nice at the time were just selling fake products that could not last. And if we're to talk about the plastics, why I'm using Nice, because at least it has been one of those particular companies across East Africa that were standing out in terms of genuine products. But not only that, when you look at other people, even when it comes to other things related to service provision, if someone comes under your brand or comes to represent your brand and they are just giving substandard work, it affects you as an individual.
That's right.
So in this way, when you look at counterfeit products, you can easily see a person who has been dealing in the quality rota trims at this time, for example, is going to lose clients, because now clients would say, it seems you're also selling fake. We've been told UNBS has said they did a crackdown. Now on the other side, for the side of the consumers, nothing is more painful than buying something and then you realize it is a fake product. Or you realize the product, or you realize your money was fleeced, if that is the best way to put it. Because you can imagine the stress parents are going through at this time to take their children back to school, and then you reach school and the teacher tells you, well, the rim you're bringing is not worth a full rim. And yet you've already spent money. You've already spent, and then at times you don't even remember where you bought it from.
Even if you remember, it's very hard to take it back. Like I buy my rims from the supermarket. Do you know how hard it's going to be to prove to them that what you got from them is actually not good quality?
And the supermarkets will tell you, no, it isn't. Ours, we sell genuine products. But then for you, you've been, into a situation and stuff like that.
Yes.
But then also on the side of consumers, having a lot of counterfeit products affects, our kind of, especially when it comes to food products. So let's say health products, and the crackdown that the UNBS
we also
has
have health products that
so
are fake.
the crackdown that the UNBS has been doing has not only been around retail shops, they've also been moving together with the regulators in the health sector to see that at least they try to look out and see what are the other, for example, the fake drugs on the market. Why? Because that has also been noticed that even in the health sector, people are selling fake drugs. We've talked about fake contraceptives, you know,
fake
and,
condoms,
you know, and this
or
is
expired condoms.
Expired condoms.
Yes,
and all of this affect someone's health. And when it comes to the health, it is not something that is going to happen in the short run. It is going to happen in the long run.
In the long run.
And all these effects keep haunting you, keep affecting you, and you never know. By the time the situation worsens, it is after you took a product or you consumed a product 4-3 years back.
Well, thank you so much, Jerome. And that's quite a very big concern, because we have a high, an increasing rate of cancers on our hands right now in Uganda, but also all across the world. And sometimes if we are being exposed to fake products, maybe health products and other products that we consume, it's going to have adverse effects on our health, which is rather sad. The other counterfeits that are gaining traction in the country are skincare and beauty products, and I worry for a time when we might have increasing cases of skin cancer. So when the National Standards Body steps in to try and confiscate counterfeits, this is a good thing. Over the past years, we've seen the Uganda National Bureau of Standards confiscate, for instance, skincare products like Carolite, saying that it has some components that are cancer-causing. So if you find Carolite or anything of that nature in a shop, just know that whoever is selling it smuggled it into the country, and you should not be using it on your skin. Normally you'll find products like that in upcountry shops, because they don't expect much supervision like it is in some parts of the country. Now, Robert, Jerome did mention that we do not have a counterfeit law. We have a bill, but it has never been consented into law. So how does that affect us as a country? And here we are speaking about the effects it has, not just on the educational system, which is now suffering with the counterfeits in the realm of fake papers, but also other goods that are being faked on the Ugandan market.
Well, law is very important. Having a particular law on something is very, very important. But I want to say my country is not in absence of laws to fight certain crimes, because still there is so many that have been charged if they have been found in possession of either altered or counterfeit goods. Now, he's very right. We need a specific law on that. But even what we have, the laws that we have today, how working are they? For example, these people, they've been arrested, they'll be convicted if all goes as planned, and they'll serve either fines or penalties.
And it will be business as usual.
And it will be business as usual. But I've known some who have been sentenced. So the issue is, one, are Ugandans aware of the products they consume, if they are counterfeit or not, if they are alternated or not? Second, does the National Standards Bureau, UNBS, does it have the manpower, necessary manpower, to carry out this enforcement? Because I want to tell you, everywhere in Uganda, they are either counterfeit or alternated products on market everywhere. I dare there could be very few of these high-end supermarkets that are so much into this. If they are foodstuffs, when one looks at the UNBS mark, they are good to go. But how many are on markets? One time we had alcohol, we had waragi that was killing people. So it goes back to vigilancy and information. I take coffee. I love coffee so much. But there's one time I took a coffee, I'm like, but for sure. Had to tell a friend, find out only to tell me, no. That coffee has something else in it. It's not only coffee. And the makers of that coffee put something else because of their interests, but was at a shelf where we buy no more coffee. It was coffee that deals with other things altogether. So we must go back and ensure that the body is empowered to do routine checks. Why would you think all those traders closed their shops? When
because they knew.
Because they knew that what they are selling are counterfeit. What they are selling are altered goods. That's why they closed. You'd think they had gone for a strike. I don't want to mention those particular arcades, but they totally closed. And these guys even had to rush for 2 or 3 shops that had not yet closed.
Jerome, Joseph Satya says, I believe the government is very much aware of what is always done along the so-called Nasa Road. I'm wondering why no action is taken against such people and stops the mess. This is Joseph from Mbali. What's your perspective on that? Because that place is famous for certain works, among others.
No, I think it's misconception. And why is that so? We all know Mutasa Kafero is a hub for stolen phones. That is what is on the street. But however, it's not entirely true. Because there are dealers in genuine phones at Mutasa Kafero.
True.
Who sell imported goods and rather imported phones, accessories and all of that. However much there is also that bit of you know, the street noise here and there that if you find a phone at Mutasa Kafero, it has been stolen. But the people who import directly. Now at NASA, you realize there is a lot of revenue collected from there, by the way, from the Uganda Revenue Authority, because NASA Road alone has quite a number of arcades around. There's Miracle, there's Printers Arcade, there's Miracle something.
So there is a lot of
there's a lot of business. Yes, there's a lot of legit business. However, the unfortunate bit is every time there is business, there is a place where there is a lot of money. Because there is a lot of money in that area. People really make money. There's branding, there's scholastic materials, and at this time, they're on form because many of them do make books and things like that. Now, there has always been, you know, that belief of counterfeit simply because they are young men who are good with their brains and they can easily make for you something which is similar to an original bit, especially when it comes to documentations. And this is where many people are saying that government knows that there's, you know, there are fake products on NASA Road. The reason as to why this crackdown, for example, for the Rotariums happened is because UNBS decided to go on ground to look and see for themselves whether there is really fake products. And you realize that they did not only look for these 4 individuals that were arrested. They had to look through everyone who is involved until they found individuals, meaning we have people in the same area who are dealing in genuine products. And this is what I was talking about earlier with how counterfeit kind of disorganizes a business brand or puts down business brands. Is if many of the Ugandans continue having the mentality that everything sold at NASA Road or everything made at NASA Road is fake or duplicate, that entirely puts a very bad image for anyone who is working from there and they're dealing. So when you look at a comment like that one, now that is a comment of a Ugandan who is coming from the majority who believe that every product that is sold from there is counterfeit, which is not right, because there are other individuals who are genuinely selling good products and they are also offering good services.
Well, news coming in indicates that His Highness the Aga Khan the Fourth has died. The Aga Khan, His Highness the Aga Khan, has passed on. The Aga Khan was born in 1936 and he has died in 2025. May his soul rest in eternal peace. Aga Khan ran a wide range of business interests in the region, from education and health, including the Aga Khan Hospital in Nairobi, one of the most impactful health facilities in the region. We'll give you more details regarding his passing, and we say may his soul rest in eternal peace. Now, moving on, Joram, looking at the facts presented on the facts presented to us, there is a side of, and by the way, this the arrest that the UNBS made were not necessarily at Nasa Road. They went downtown Kampala and arrested over 4 individuals, confiscated over 500 boxes of counterfeit papers. So it goes, I don't want Ugandans to misconstrue this information here and say UNBS or UBC said UNBS went to Nasa Road because they, like Joram said, there are legit businesses happening over there. But gentlemen, for me, I would like to hear from your own perspectives what we can do as a country to curb counterfeits, because if the reports indicate that we are #1 in the East African region with counterfeit goods, that doesn't...
No, that was in 2009.
That was in 2009. Oh, okay. But still, that's not a good report. And
no, we've come from far.
Yeah.
If in 2009, that is a decade apart, and we are trying to put an end to the
where are we
same.
right now?
That I don't know, but we are not the worst.
Okay, we are not the worst, but we still can do better. So I'll start with you, Chirabo. What can we do going forward to further reduce the amount of counterfeits we have on the market, be it skincare products, be it health products, be it educational products like the rims we are talking about today, even some food products? How do we curb counterfeits? And also, the other question within that question is, how are these people getting the UNBS mark?
Thank you so much, Monica. First, we must fight at importation level, where they enter the country, because we have counterfeit in 2 ways. What is manufactured, what is imported in the country, and where Uganda has for long been a dumping site, most of for Chinese products. That's why sometimes UNBS, when they go down there, and they go into electronics, I think you've seen this on several occasions, extensions, wires, but these are not made here, they have been imported. So how do we have URA and UNBS? That URA is not only looking at tax collection and maybe certain goods at the airport where we have prohibited, whatever, those that have, but they are looking at the quality. Is this what we accept in Uganda? NBS officials are there as URA officials are there. So when you pass through customs, there is also that particular desk that looks at the quality of what you're bringing to the country at our borders. And of course, you also fight smuggling. Now, second is for what is manufactured here. Create awareness. How do you create awareness among the public that, well, this is an enemy? One, buying counterfeit is an enemy to you and the lives of many people. I've seen Ugandans, when you tell them, well, this particular product is this amount of money and this is lesser, but this doesn't work as good as this, they'll tell you, give me what? The cheapest. Not meaning that always something cheap, the quality also differs, but sometimes there's a likelihood of that happening. Now, create awareness among the public, build and empower institutions that fight counterfeit. How? When you go to UNBS, they will tell you they are understaffed. They will use this saying, we can't be everywhere at all the time. Now, in a year, they may do a few operations. And you may find that National Drug Authority may do even more operations than UNBS does. Because for them, maybe they are specific on drugs, but this one is looking at a broader picture. Now, they need to be empowered. They need to have a number of staff they deserve, the technology that they need to ensure we can curb counterfeit. So I believe if we can fight its entry points, if we can empower the public to be able, and also quicken the method of reporting. You know, if I'm in a supermarket and I look at a commodity and I doubt it, how do I quicken? Now, going to the Q mark, that is the UNBS mark that is placed on certain goods manufactured here as approval to standard. One, do Ugandans know how this mark actually looks?
Can they distinguish between the fake one
Yes.
and the legitimate one?
UNBS should use UBC advertise, show people that this is exactly our mark. Because a person goes to, again, I'll go back to that particular area. Because it's known, I'm not saying they do, but it's known that if you need people who have machines that can do you something next to the original,
yes,
go to Nassau Road. These people invest heavily and they import those machines heavily because they know they'll make them money.
So UNBS should do public awareness
Public
regarding...
awareness, because what I'll depend on to buy a commodity is the Q mark.
Thank
now,
you
if
so
I don't
much,
know how
Robert.
the Q mark looks like, I'll just buy anything I find. I'll make my juice, get a duplicate, pin it there.
Thank you so much, Robert. Jerome, what's your say regarding the same?
Well, the only problem we're facing is that many of the factors that influence decisions of Ugandans to buy a product, its pricing is high on the is high.
It's at the top.
Yeah, is at the top. Why many Ugandans are not so much vigilant when it comes to the product they're buying, and because I've also been through such a situation where I have got to buy certain products just because it is cheaper.
I think
And
all
it's
of
like
us are culprits.
Okay, all of us are even
Yeah.
culprits here, because at times we end up harboring the counterfeit on the market. That is why during the consultation for the anti-counterfeit bill in 2024, many of the business people who are still backing this bill to turn into law were saying they need to be protected. They need to be helped. Why? Because to them, when they are selling genuine products, someone can sell you a product at 20,000. When you see another at 15, and you know the problem is with these products, at times they look the same. So for you, definitely go for what fits in your pocket. I
But
mean,
this
we all understand
businessman
the
has
economy.
paid taxes, they're paying rent.
Me, I don't want to know what he has paid.
Yes.
I'm just simply looking at what is favoring, because also you're
Yes.
like, this is how much I earn, I have to live within my means.
Yes.
So in most cases, what determines what we buy is dependent on how much we have.
Exactly.
Now, this is the nature, or this is the state of the Ugandans. So the only thing is to put strict, I don't want to say laws, because at times the laws can be in place because we have so many laws in this country, even those that do not tackle counterfeit, but many of them are not so practical. We just need to be really strict when it comes to things that that are entering our country. For example, vehicles. Lately, it is URA, and I think also UNBS, if I'm not mistaken, are very strict on the kind of spare parts that are coming into the country. And I think the reason is simply because of maybe the taxation and the kind of money people have to pay, which makes them very strict, because they have to tap the money there. So I think we also need to put a lot of attention to the quality of products that are entering. Because by the time we are going downtown to, let's say, move to supermarkets to crack down imported counterfeit, how did they enter the market? If they were, if they entered through air, how did they pass the airport? If they entered by road, because many of them are smuggled into the country by road, why aren't we putting on strict measures at the border ports?
Remember, we also have porous borders. Could that be an issue?
That can as well be one. But then also, you look on the side of sensitization, especially when it comes to the side of the consumers. Ugandans need to be very attentive to the kind of products they get. However, on the side of the sensitization, you will agree that there are certain products in Uganda that do not have a UNBS mark, and they are good products, and they're on the market.
How do you know they are good products, Jerome?
No, because...
What do you base on to call them good if they don't have the UNBS mark?
We also have products with the UNBS mark that are not good products.
Is it a legit mark? That's a viable question.
That is also viable. But what I'm saying is, on the rate of consumption, when you're consuming some of these products, because when UNBS is going to give you a mark, there are quite a number of tests and, of course, that your product has to go through.
So some people are selling the products as they await
as they
the
await, yes, as they
mark.
await the UNBS mark.
Isn't that risky for us consumers, though?
It is risky. And then on the other side, there are also those who do not have money or enough money to go and register for a UNBS mark. When you sit down with the small businesses that want to grow, someone will tell you the stages I'm supposed to go through to get this mark. It is more costly to me, and at least if UNBS can also do what, decrease on the amount of money I'm supposed to use to register my product there for standard checking and also get the standard mark, because this is where many of the bigger companies are benefiting. For them, they have, they have the name, they have the brand, they have the capacity to pull
they have the funding.
Here and that.
Thank you so much, Joram. Now, I have some comments coming through, and the first one is from Muhimbura Benon, who says, "Good morning, UBC Uganda. Thank you for the program. Concerning the discussion, there is a lot to be done with consumer protection by government under the responsible bodies. For example, Uganda National Bureau of Standards, Uganda National Drug Authority, among others. There are many clinics which do not meet standards regarding even the housing they operate in." Also, he says some business people use false or outdated scales, mostly, especially, or in butcheries. Because UNBS, even when they come to monitor, they are corrupted. Some products are substandard and sometimes expired, where most of the consumers have no knowledge of identifying the issue. The government needs to seriously monitor Uganda National Bureau of Standards against corruption to effectively do what is best for Ugandans. That is from Muhimbura Benon. Thank you so much. And the next comment comes in from Prince Rasul Idris. He says, "Good morning, my fellow citizens. Rasul Idris from Zombo district. The government officials are the ones encouraging people to sell or smuggle." Rasul, he says he witnessed one time when they told the shopkeeper to pay them for the goods in the shop. Well, that is Rasul's point of view. And then Kigwe Nsubuga Livingstone of Rezandeja Division says, "Thank you, Sister Olive, Paul and Robert. The business of counterfeits has existed for so long, I think since this government came to power. The bodies are there to regulate this, but they are not good implementers. And you will find that the operators of fake products are also, some of them are government officials." And he says, secondly, Owavu, which is poverty, most people cannot afford standard products. I was told by my late dad that during Obote and Amin's time, not even money, counterfeits was found, basically fake money. We need strategic plans to combat this, but we need to streamline the whole system if we are to address this issue. Thank you so much, Livingstone. And then counterfeits are just too much in Kaliro, involving many levels. This is from Ahmed Salim Abdallah. And lastly, this one's from Stephen. He says the fact that these things are happening, UNBS has a hand in this counterfeit business. I have worked for certain curtain companies who are using fake logos. I think he says certain companies that are using fake logos.
I think also the bit of integrity is important, Olive. There are people who are dealing in these products and they know
that what they're selling is counterfeit.
It's counterfeit, but because it is bringing them money, they no longer want to stop. So
those are the ones that closed their shops when they knew that they could.
Yes, they close their shops, but they continuously sell products, meaning they do not care about what
they're selling out.
What they're selling out
impact.
for, as long as it's bringing money inside, they don't care. They will give you any product, whether it has a health implication on you or not. So the integrity of those in business should also be highly prioritized or looked at.
So I think to a degree, business people are looking more at the profit than the impact and implications what they're selling could have on the consumers, which is rather sad. Anyway, we come to the end of our discussion, but Good Morning Uganda continues.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda. Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Junko.
Yo.
Wachiko. Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Uganda, haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving.
Junko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. But what you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
In a nation hungry for truth, a world where every story matters, there exists a beacon of trust and reliability. For decades, they've been our voice and our window to the world, holding the mirror of our history. With 4 TV stations and 11 radio channels spanning 27 languages, they stand as guardians of information, defenders of truth. With Mascari Heritage Advantage, they uphold every citizen's right to reliable and free information. Their archived stories shaped our past and illuminate our present. Yet now, as new challenges arise and the world evolves, their mission faces its greatest test yet. Be part of our journey and let's navigate the unknown, uncover the untold, and safeguard our future together. Tune into your public broadcaster, for it is the intersection of trust and truth. Because to UBC, your story, and every voice matters. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
All right, good morning and thank you very much for sticking around. Business time it is, and we're going to kick off from the Bunyoro sub-region because over 100 sugar farmers led by their chairperson, that is Haji Kazibarine Mohamud, stormed the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives, demanding for a resolution to their ongoing struggles. Now, the farmers were seeking intervention regarding the fairness of the weighing scales used for measuring their sugarcane and challenging the monopoly by the ministry. The commission advised them to return with a formal proposal for future discussions. The farmers, who are members of the Bunyoro Sugarcane Union, have voiced their concerns about the weighing scales, and these concerns have been there for quite some time. Since last year, they've been raising the same concern, and they decided to push it forward until the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives gives them a sustainable solution. Now, they are also calling for an end to the ministry's monopoly, which they believe is limiting their growth and profitability as sugarcane farmers in Bunyoro. And they believe that when you look at the weighing scales, they also claim that they are quite unfair and biased to benefit the sugar factories. Well, more developments coming in from sugarcane business in Bunyoro. We shall be giving you details of the same. And away from that, the music industry stakeholders have been urging the government to consider establishing music programs in the government besides the copyright law. And this time around, they've talked about matters to do with funding music schools, especially at a time when the country is grappling with the shortage of musical schools. Such institutions, according to the music industry stakeholders, will serve as breeding grounds for developing a well-rounded creative industry. This comes as the country prepares to host the inaugural DFCU PAL Festival 2025 in May. Now, with the growing music industry talents, many people, especially the youth, earn from this creative and artistic sector. However, the challenge remains in the issue of professionalism, as the sector is set to look at eliminating unskilled opportunists who are degrading the value, and this is at the expense of the talented and professional creatives. Now, according to the National Culture Forum, the umbrella body representing all creatives, there is a need for the government to include a variety of musical courses in all government-funded institutions of learning to instill music ethics and also keep the music industry vibrant. Now, the sector currently has no barriers to entry, meaning anyone can join regardless of age, and the few available private schools that are centered around teaching musical lessons are quite expensive, something that many of the players or the stakeholders in Uganda's music industry feel should be tackled by the government by putting sustainable solutions and also putting solutions where those who cannot afford the expensive schools can opt for the government-aided or government-funded institutions of learning. Now, the music equipment on the market is also costly. The music stakeholders have also revealed, making it very difficult for the many young creatives to break even in the world of music business. Now, in the same regard, Uganda is set to host the inaugural DFCU Jazz Festival 2025, an event that will also feature jazz music legends such as Isaiah Katumwa, and the festival seeks to showcase to the world what music, like any other venture, why music, like any other venture, should be embraced as a business, not only from the concerts, but also putting it out there as a big business investment. Now, away from that, we head to the international scene, where Alphabet, the parent company of technology giant Google, is no longer promising that it will never use artificial intelligence for purposes such as developing weapons and surveillance tools. Now, the firm has rewritten the principles guiding its use of AI, dropping a section which ruled out uses that were likely to cause harm. And in a blog post, Google Senior Vice President James Manyika and the Miss Hasabis, who leads the AI lab Google DeepMind, defended their move, and they argue businesses and democratic governments need to work together with AI, and it will help them support national security. There is a debate among these AI experts and professionals over how the powerful new technology should be governed in broad terms, and also how far commercial gains should be allowed to determine its direction, and how best to guard against risks for humanity in general. Now, there is also controversy around the use of AI on the battlefield and in surveillance technologies. The blog said that the company's original AI principles published in 2018 needed to be updated as the technology keeps on evolving year in, year out. Now, billions of people are using AI in their everyday lives today, and many sectors of the economy seem to be highly impacted by AI usage. And for those that are not folding or using AI, many are falling out in simply because they are not embracing technology. And then also, lastly, we now take a look at Donald Trump's earlier trade tariffs on Canada, Mexico, and China. The United States has postponed, as revealed yesterday here in our international news, has postponed the planned 25% tariffs on Canadian and Mexican imports by a month, following an 11th hour call between President Donald Trump and the leaders from Canada and Mexico on Monday. Now, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum agreed to boost border security to prevent the trafficking of drugs and immigrants into the U.S. and averting a trade war for now. Now, also, the 10% tariffs on Chinese goods took effect on Tuesday, attracting retaliatory measures from Beijing, as the Chinese goods have already been subjected to previous tariffs starting in Trump's very first term as United States President in 2017. Now, the tariff war by U.S., which is the second largest goods trader in the world after China, has rattled markets worldwide. From January to November 2024, the value of goods traded between the U.S. and the world reached 4.88 trillion US dollars, with 2.98 trillion US dollars in exports and 1.90 trillion in imports. Now, the United States' top trading partners, Mexico, Canada, and China, account for more than 40% of total goods traded valued at more than 2 trillion US dollars. And with that, we now focus on the forex market to see how the Ugandan shilling has been faring against the other currencies. This is courtesy of the central bank. Now, opening time saw the US dollar buy at 3,672.64 while selling with 3,682.54. Midday, the US dollar was buying at 3,679.45 while selling at 3,689.45. The US dollar then closed buying at 3,676.32 while selling with 3,686.32. The Great Britain pound was buying at 4,558.26 while selling at 4,570.66. The euro was buying at 3,784.77 while selling at 3,795.06. The Kenyan shilling was buying at 28.45 while selling at 28.53. The Tanzanian shilling was buying at 1.44 shillings while selling at 1.44 shillings. The South African rand was buying at 195.65 while selling at 196.18 Ugandan shillings. Good morning, I'm Jerome Paul Sonko. I'll be back tomorrow with the latest from the world of business. Good Morning Uganda continues with the Good Morning Uganda agenda.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC.
Every Wednesday, 10 p.m. on your public broadcaster.
Was brought to you by
I'll call you every day, yeah, yo, baby, don't know.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks. Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000 or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21 hash and select daily or use the MyMTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
It's our mission to secure your money.
Protecting your money is as important as earning it. It is for this reason that the Deposit Protection Fund of Uganda, DPF, was established by the government of Uganda to provide deposit protection to customers of regulated financial institutions. In the unlikely event that your commercial bank, credit institution or microfinance deposit-taking institution fails, the DPF will pay you up to 10 million Uganda shillings. Keep your personal information such as national identification number, mobile phone or an alternative bank account updated with your banker. Terms and conditions apply. For more information, contact DPF at Aha Towers, Plot 7 Lodell Road, Kampala. Call 0312 206 400 or visit our website at www.dpf.or.ug.
We are the DPF. We protect your money. Protection Fund of Uganda.
Coming soon on UBC.
Are you ready to take your fitness journey to the next level? Join the Sweat Squad by Sion. Coming soon to UBC TV. with expert guidance, cutting-edge workouts, and a supportive community. You'll be unstoppable.
The circle started 5 years back with 15 members who were part of the executive, and we managed to use the same 15 members to mobilize the youth and come in to make the 16 associations. So each member took a thought of gathering, mobilizing the 15 people to make associations. So the circle was established. We happened to have 229 members that qualified for 30 millions, which we got in 2021. We used the 30 millions from the presidential initiative to buy the 6 motorcycles, which was a small number to benefit the 229 members, but we managed to use it. The 6 border helped us to go under saving culture. We managed to group our members into 15-15 for saving culture. So the saving culture is 15 groups. They could get 12,000 per day, which 12,000 at the end of the month manages to buy 1 motorcycle. That 1 motorcycle is shared among the 15, so they vote who to take it. The 15 kept on until the 15 months. Every member had to get 1 motorcycle with saving culture. As I say, we managed to get 84 motorcycles from today's report. On daily, a rider, you move Kawempe, Nakawaru, Makinde, you Kampala Metropolitan, and at the end of the day, you have 50,000. That one, we call it average day. There is a time you make 100, that is, we call it the golden day. So most of our members came without anything to use or to support their family. So we helped them by giving them the border as one of the job opportunity the circle is offering to the community.
Tusokwebaza President Museveni olw'enkola eno gyatutereddewo otukulaakulanya nga najja wano mu ssaka eno nga sirina piki era ndi omu ku bammemba abaasooka okufuna lupiki. Kati abavubuka abali bateesobola kugula piki wano kibakyama kuba ogula buguzi migabo $5,000 ng'ofuna piki ng'otandika obulamu. Ate ku layisi tuli bangi kuba omuntu tolina $5 million zigula mpya 5 kitundu. Oba oguze emigabo ate nga gijjo n'otandikira okwo tolaba nti oba ofunyeemu. Abantu abali batalina mirimu bagifuna. Wabwe guno mulimu nno gwe nnyini tugufunyeemu singa simaanyi ga mulimu guno kitegeeza nandibadde sikola ki sina ngeri ki gye nyiza bikwasaganya. Abaana basoma era muki okulya byonna okuba kwesanyusaamu era kiki era ngutwala ng'ensonga enkulu kubanga ufunamu gubinkolera go ge mazima gubinkolera ddala bulungi mukadde tajjula maama gwe nninawo yekka oba oli awo akasimu ante kino bakiri mugira nga noteekayo n'omusingi ante kino egamba tosobola kulwamu ki sente.
Ebyenfuna byange byali bibi ddala naye mu bbanga ery'emyezi 9 wenfunidde piki ayo obulamu bwakyukira ddala kubanga siganye na kati nkyapangisa naye luli eri nga landirodyako netutandika nga odduka nosanga nga basiirinze nawo naye kati nsobola omusasula nina omukyala n'abaana bendabirira nsobola okubaliisa bulungi nnyo nga embeera etambula. Era njagala okwebaza omukulembeze w'eggwanga tujjukira nga ffe abavubuka n'atuleetera pulojekiti eno ey'emyoga. kuba ne mami wange saazina neenyumirizaamu kuba akubira akasimu n'omuweerezaayo omutwalo oba ebiri kuba oba ozirina. Njagala otwala omukisa guno okwebaza omukulembeze w'eggwanga olw'okutulowoozaako nga ffe abavubuka n'atuleetera pulojekiti y'emyoga ne tutandika okufuna ku mirimu ne tufuna ebyokkola. Twabeerangaawo nga tulina byakkola tutambula butambuzi nakuzzabuza misango, naye kati okuva lwe pulojekiti y'emyoga we yajja kati tukola era ssente zaffe tuzirabako. Era olw'okuba nti nasiima nze ng'omuntu nasalawo n'ekifaananyi kya Pulezidenti Museveni kitambuze mu Kampala yonna mwenkolera okubalaga nti Pulezidenti Museveni yantuusizza ku kino kuba nekolera ssente zange era nzifuna era nzirabako.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Well, once again, good morning. If you're just joining us, welcome to Good Morning Uganda. Now, a lot is happening in the country and we are just going to get into it as the permanent secretary, as the government has halted early retirement for scientists in the country. And many of these, a very big portion, are science teachers. Well, my name is Olive Monica Najuma, and I'll be having this conversation with Mr. Philbert Baguma, who is the General Secretary, Uganda National Teachers Union. Now, according to the permanent secretary, Minister of Public Service, that is Catherine Bitarakwate, she says that only exceptional circumstances will be considered to allow someone to take early retirement. She cited cases of civil servants who would tender in retirement just to run for political offices. So why are we here, and why is it that many scientists, especially science teachers, are affected? What's the way forward? Pertinent questions we are asking this morning, and we will get the answers. Join the conversation through WhatsApp number 0709-602-592 to share your views and also how this might impact scientists. But our main focus here is going to be on the science teachers. Good morning, Mr. Baguma. You're welcome.
Good morning, Madam. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yes.
It's my pleasure to have you here today.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, first of all, let's look into what constituted the Public Service Ministry to halt early retirement.
Well, as far as I am concerned, it is still rumored because I haven't seen any instrument to that effect. As long as we are still under the rule of law in this country, people have got a right. Being in public service is not a prison, and therefore there are provisions, there are circumstances under which one can go for early retirement. And we have the public service standing orders which have been recently reviewed. We have the 2021 version. And all those provisions are well stated. And therefore, the opinion of the permanent secretary or the opinion of the president, until it is put on paper to make an instrument, it remains a wishful thinking. Otherwise, the law is still intact. If a teacher has served for 10 consecutive years and is of age 45, he qualifies. And there is no reason you attach. That is a qualification.
For early retirement.
You have served for 10 consecutive years and you have 45 years of age. That is a qualification, and it is a pensionable retirement.
You don't have to give a reason.
You don't have to give a reason, because that is a qualification and that is what the policy says. Or if you have taught for 20 years, 20 consecutive years, that one does not have even the age attached to it. You qualify to ask for early retirement. Females have got a leverage. If you have served for 5 years in service, you can retire on marriage grounds. Then we have provisions for retirement on medical grounds for those who are sick.
Yes.
But also, the Local Government Act clearly states that if you want to join active politics, you must retire or resign. And therefore, all these provisions are still intact within the law. Unless we get an executive order from the President or the Ministry of Public Service goes through the process of reviewing the public service standing orders, then it simply means early retirement provision is still there.
Okay.
And our constitution is very clear. We have the protection of the law. And we are all equal before and under the law as Ugandans. And this is provided for under Article 21
yes.
of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda. Yes.
Okay. If you're just joining us, we are speaking matters at government through the Ministry of Public Service halting early retirement for scientists. Now, this decision will affect mostly science teachers, and that's our main point of focus. Now, you must be wondering, why is the government trying to halt the early retirement? Mr. Bagoma here has shared with us that it is legally right for someone to seek early retirement. They don't have to attach a reason, and the law is very clear on that, whether you're joining elective politics or you're seeking retirement for the females on grounds of marriage or on grounds of health and many others. It is well stipulated you can have early retirement. But according to the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Public Service, Catherine Bitarakwate, she did say that they are expecting to receive some requests from the category of people that are joining elective politics. But she said that for the other categories, they need to look at their new salary enhancements and the benefits that come with that. So, Mr. Bagoma, that is already making you laugh.
Yes.
What's your perspective on that? Because there has been the assertion that because their salaries were enhanced, it means the benefits are even bigger. And because of that, some are seeking early retirement so that they get the benefits and probably invest in some other venture rather than staying in teaching.
Yeah, first of all, you see, if you decide not to listen, whatever decisions you take, you must be ready for the consequences. So the actions and inactions of government, government should bear the consequences, because we have over time told them. This is coming at a time when they enhanced salaries using discriminatory methods, which is against the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda.
Yes.
Now, when these disparities came in, so many teachers decided to leave. Now, those who are leaving are not only teachers of science. Even those of arts are leaving. Even those of primary are leaving. The only difference is that some group is leaving because they are demoralized, their morale is very low, and they feel they are neglected.
That is the arts teachers.
Yes. And therefore they feel they should leave. Now, according to the thinking, the opinion is that for those, there is no problem, they can leave. But for those whose salary has been enhanced, then they should not go because they have increased their salary. But they are also finding an opportunity saying this is going to be a fat package. So if I take it, by the way, even when they retire, their pension is more than the salary of a serving teacher in the arts and humanities. Actually, it is more than double. And therefore, they see no reason why someone should be transferred from, let's say, Mbarara to Karamoja when they can have this option. Now, unless they are going to say the rights of Ugandans have been put on hold, that's when that can be implemented. Yes, it is true they can enforce it, but by the time someone comes to say, I am seeking for early retirement, the person retired like 3 years ago. So that is only reformalization. So even if you say don't go, they will remain but not doing what you expect them to do. And therefore, the only solution is address the error which you made and make sure the public service is at par in terms of remuneration, so that we don't have these, because some of them are retiring because the workplace has become hostile. You know, even
their colleagues are now seeing them in a certain type of way.
Yes.
I actually, just to get off topic a bit, I wonder how the environment, the air is in staff rooms across different schools in the country. Are teachers still friends, the science teachers and then the arts teachers? How are they working together?
This is just the beginning. There are much consequences beyond this. This is what has come out as a consequence of the government's decision to discriminate the public servants. Actually, it is not only the teachers. It is across the entire public service. And therefore, let government not beat about the bush. Let government address the error which was made in salary enhancement. And then you will find harmonious working relationships, you will find teamwork, and you will find public servants enjoying their job. But right now, there is hostility at the workplace. You imagine if you are a teacher of A level, you have a student who is taking MEG as a combination, mathematics, economics, geography. The teacher who teaches mathematics is earning 4 million.
The teacher who teaches economics and geography,
those are other
is earning
two,
how much?
assuming.
Yes.
Now, the other one is earning a net of 800. Now, while this one is getting out of the classroom, he's meeting their colleague also entering.
Probably the lifestyle of this colleague has even changed. He's now the colleague showing up at school right
of course,
in a car.
Even when you are in the staff room, the diet changes, because I mean, I have the capacity to buy an accompaniment. You don't have. It becomes worse. Like now the term has just begun, while others are looking at how they are taking back the children. The others are indicating where the children have gone to better schools and so on. And therefore, we cannot say the workstation is harmonious. No teamwork. It has been eroded. No cooperation to say they coordinate well. No. Some of the staff rooms have got corners, the science corner, and so the haves and the have-nots. And therefore, and this is spilling over to the children. Because this discussion, the children are also participating.
Yes.
And some of them are asking their parents, why should I continue taking art subjects? Some of the schools have now started limiting admission of arts students. And therefore, what we are entering is a very dangerous situation.
Wow.
Because the strategy to promote science and innovation is not being handled properly, and therefore it is misconstrued into something different, and we may not benefit from it. Because we are going to see everybody forcing himself or herself into the science field, and therefore you will have people who are there for the sake of being there, because that is what the government wants, and at the end of the day, the consequences will be dire.
Wow, that's rather sad. Looking at what the law says, going back to our conversation about government halting early retirement for scientists, our main focus being on science teachers, the law says this is both the Pensions Act, Cap 286, Volume 2, and the Public Service Standing Orders 2021. Both of them provide early retirement for public servants who have continuously served for 10 years and have reached 45 years of age. The mandatory age for retirement, however, is 60 years. That is for public servants. There are no pension benefits that accrue to civil servants who resign before clocking the set retirement age. Mr. Baguma, help us understand this part, where it says there are no pension benefits that accrue to civil servants who resign before the clocking the state retirement age.
Yeah, the provisions given, for example, if you retire on marriage grounds, the calculation gives you a one-off payment, and then you don't qualify for pension. You see, when you are exiting, there is a provision for gratuity and then monthly pension.
Oh.
Now, why they are saying if you are not in this bracket, then you don't qualify for pension, and you don't qualify for early retirement because you have not met the requirements for early retirement. And therefore, if, for example, you have taught even if you have taught for 19 years, but you are not yet 45 years of age, it means if you choose to go, you just resign. You have not qualified, because you must have 10 years in service and 45 years of age. Now, you have more than 10 years, but
you're not 45.
You are not 45, and therefore you don't qualify. If you have served for 20 years, but you are, let's say, 40 years of age, you still qualify because you have the provision for 20 years in service.
I see the difference.
So what they mean is that you must be within that pension qualifying age and qualification, and then you are considered for gratuity and monthly pension.
Okay, so if you're not within those ages or the years that have been stipulated, you can go ahead and retire.
You resign.
Resign. It's not retirement. So you can go ahead and resign, and you will not get pension at the end of the day.
You don't get gratuity, you don't get pension because you are not qualifying.
Okay. But now, so are you saying that the government is concerned with the ones that qualify, maybe in age and also in the time served, that want to leave, those are the ones they are halting, whose retirement they are halting?
Because they are the ones who are formally writing. Otherwise, if I am 19 years in service
you will just
and I am 43 years old, I don't qualify, and therefore I don't waste my time to write.
Okay.
I just resign and go. Or some of them even simply walk away and abscond from duty. So they are concerned with those who officially write because they are the ones where they are going to pay.
Okay.
Now the issue is on the payment.
The issue is the
payment for the primary school teachers and the arts and humanities teachers is not all that big. And that's why they are not emphasizing on them. But the one for teachers of science, since the enhancement, is a fat package. And now they are looking at, if for example, you have about 3 teachers retiring in a given financial year, teachers of science, they will take all the gratuity for a given local government.
Wow.
They will consume it because their package is fat.
So they are affecting the entire budget.
The entire budget for pension and gratuity is affected. And that's where the issue is.
So, Mr. Baguma, I want you to repeat yourself for someone that is just joining us right now. The halting of the retirement for scientists, especially science teachers, is mainly about the fatness of the gratuity or even pension that the government has to cough out to them.
Yes.
Are you saying that it's not anywhere related to probably a shortage of science teachers going forward if they keep letting them retire early?
No, what is paining them is you have enhanced someone's salary. You have made it possible for this person to get a bigger package, and the person is saying, oh yes, here I am going away. And you are saying, no, I cannot give you my money and then you go. You must first work for it. Now, but you are infringing on the rights of this person because constitutionally this person has a right and the provisions are there within the law. And therefore, either the government through Ministry of Public Service have got to go back on the drawing board and rectify the error of discriminating during salary enhancements so that the public servants are at par.
If, let's paint a picture. Had the government increased salaries across the board,
Yes.
science and arts teachers,
Yes.
are you saying we would not have found ourselves at a point where teachers are seeking early retirement? Because at the end of the day, all of you have been grappling with low pay for so many years. And COVID-19 told teachers one thing: I can actually succeed at something else. So wouldn't you all, even you, Mr. Baguma, be deserting our children to go and invest in other ventures?
Actually, they wouldn't. The early retirement has been there. The teachers have been there. You had not heard about this cry from government.
Them retiring in droves.
Why?
Oh.
This disparity is the one which is causing the massive movement.
Because of the hostility.
The other ones are demoralized and they feel rejected and they don't think government is valuing their work. And therefore they are choosing to leave because of that. The other side, they are saying, oh, after all, people are not looking at me in a better way. Why don't I leave? Because even when I leave, I am better off in terms of monthly pension, in terms of the package. And therefore, they are also choosing to leave. If they had increased gradually like it has been, then we wouldn't see this mass movement of early retirement, because you had not heard about government crying that no, don't
we
go.
Can't afford this.
It has, and the provisions
so it all
have
boils
been
down
there.
to the increment. Well, according to the Auditor General's report, he says this is the report that for the period that ended December 2024, and we are in February. So this is very recent. This report raised concern about the number of science employees who are retiring early from civil service. According to the report, it indicated that the early retirement trend was triggered by the salaries for scientists, which was enhanced across the board. And figures provided by the Auditor General put the number of pensioners on the public service payroll at 72,206, but this is expected to surge should the trend of early retirement go unchecked. The report said this would likely put a strain on public resources. Now, according to Ms. Catherine Witarakwate, the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Public Service, she concurs and she says there have been concerns that those who have opted to take early retirement blow our pension wage out of proportion and may be unsustainable. And upon this background, this is why we are having this conversation. But Mr. Waguma argues that legally, the Public Service Ministry cannot stop people from seeking early retirement. It doesn't matter if the government is stranded. It doesn't matter if their retirement budget is being blown out of proportion. Legally, it is bound to let people go when their time or if they qualify for early retirement. But where does that leave the sectors that these scientists are representing? Where does that leave our education sector? Also, the fact that people seek to retire and you tell them they cannot go. For the teachers, will they be interested in doing their job to the same tune they've been doing it prior? That is a question to you. How will this, in the event that it comes through, maybe through an executive order, shall we have teachers committed to teaching our children, yet they wanted to leave?
I am on record advising governments before they did it that they will not have value for money. And this was in 2022. This has exposed them. Because if they had chosen to listen, we wouldn't be discussing these issues. But they chose not to listen. Now they are beating about the bush. Let them go back and make a review of the public service standing orders, amend the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, remove whatever they want to remove, and then Ugandans will follow. But as long as the law is still there, you are not going to stand in the path of someone who has chosen to leave public service and go to contest in politics. After all, the framers of the Local Government Act were selfish, and it is catching up with them.
How were they selfish?
They were blocking the civil servants from contesting. And therefore they put a provision that for you to contest for a political office, you must retire or resign from your job.
But the retirement is also called for even in the private sector.
Now, that's why I am saying, in the private sector, you can only retire if you are drawing your salary from the consolidated fund.
Oh, in the private sector, it is resignation.
If you are doing your own things, then why? Where is the condition coming
No, like
from?
if I work for instance, if I work for a private sector institution like the bank, but then there you just resign, and if you don't go through as a politician, you seek for another job. It's not retirement.
It depends on the arrangement of the company or the organization.
For most organizations, even in media, you're supposed to quit so that you go and pursue your political ambitions.
Now, that was selfish because We even use it to have better discussions in local governments. For example, the councillors were up to the level of discussions, but right now, anybody can become a councillor, but there is a condition that for you to become a cow, you must have a master's, you must have studied administrative law course. Now, you are dealing with someone who has no qualification.
Cows are supposed to have master's degrees, yet members of parliament, the least they must have is a senior
That is the
certificate.
that is the new document I have seen Ministry of Public Service advising. And for you to become a sub-county chief, you must have a bachelor's degree.
Is that going to also cross over to parliament? Because parliament, we are still at senior 6 certificate.
Parliament is still at senior 6, and it is also having issues, because the level of debate is also to that level of the qualification we are talking about. So if you are saying at the sub-county chief must be having bachelors, but you don't have a qualification for the councillor, now how will this councillor interpret the policy? How will this councillor interpret the budget? So removing, the ideal would be if you are a civil servant, you join politics, if you go through, then retire or resign and go the other side. But for you to put a condition, it was to scare civil servants from contesting and participating in politics. But people are going ahead and saying, even when you say I retire, I am ready to retire and participate.
Give me my money.
Now that is where the problem is coming from.
Well,
obviously it
yes.
will affect the performance. First of all, when you see massive early retirement, it simply means you are losing people who have experience. Yes, you will replace them, but you are losing the experience.
And that matters.
And it matters. And therefore, and like I have told you, you don't need to address the issue by intimidating that no more early retirement. People can retire while they are at the job, which is very dangerous.
And because they will, and this, what Mr. Baguma means here, someone can retire while still working, but this will present in less production, absconding from work, missing work, and at the end of the day, service delivery will be affected.
Obviously. And therefore, like I told you earlier, when you see someone carrying an application for early retirement, that person has been at it for a minimum of 3 years.
They have thought about it.
It's not something one wakes up one morning and says, let me retire.
That's true. They have
to think about it, look at it.
They have had self-audits.
Sometimes they make the application and keep it. They keep looking at it.
That's true.
By the time they bring it to office,
the decision has been made.
It's like someone who has been married not officially for 10 years and wakes up and says, I want to officiate my marriage. Now, the person coming to say, I am seeking for early retirement, retired some years ago. So even when you say don't go, you know you are not going to get much from this person, because the person has already made a decision and service delivery will not be expected from this person.
And in that regard, the children are the ones that will not get what they need to get from the teachers that basically they already have one foot out the door. Now, Mwesigwa Nasul says, this is Mwesigwa for President 2026. I think government should even be happy for such requests because we have young unemployed science teachers who need to be enrolled under public service, but they are not given a chance. And since there is no law that stops them to retire, if they are qualified basing on the act, government should let them go and do other ventures. But this now feeds into what you said. You can let them go, but you're losing experience.
Yeah.
Yes, you'll have the new recruits, but they will not have the experience, and you need a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Okay, and the next comment comes in from let me see, Mohimbura Benon. He says, good morning, UBC Uganda. Thank you for the program. The government is right to hold scientists early retirement, because why is it too much for science teachers after salary increment? They have seen it as opportunity to quit and do other businesses alongside payment, because they can get too much and have been enabled to establish private businesses. The government should consider early retirement after investigations on someone's health, maybe, or cut-off payments. This needs to be like a renewable contract for a number of years by all government workers in case one reaches 60 while serving benefits like pension, and who fails to get retirement package, and who fails to get I'm not sure I understand what you said, but he says otherwise the government will lose much after all these effects and imbalances in salary increments. Oh, thank you so much, Benon. Mr. Waguma, Benon basically suggests that government should use the upper hand regardless what the law says.
That's why I was saying, if we have moved from the rule of law, you see, every decision that is made by government, that's why government employs technical people. Technical people are supposed to guide and advise. That's why they earn salary. And therefore, for any decision to have dire consequences like this is an exposure of the inefficiencies of those who are employed to advise government.
The technocrats.
The technocrats. Because they should have advised the government on this.
Okay.
And I want to tell you, this is only coming, and it is only alarming because of the disparity in the payment of salary.
Well, Ivan from Chitagwenda says, accordingly, this is good. This is a good issue, and I wonder where you see science teachers are earning more salary than arts teachers, yet they pay the same school fees. I would like to ask this president if the president talked about free education, but Ivan, I'm so sorry, I don't understand the point you're trying to raise. But then Makere Admon in Kasese municipality, he says, regarding discrimination in salary enhancements, there seems to appear a deliberate effort by the government to manage the teaching profession force in segments. This human resource management strategy is a menace to the education system and will invade the quality of education outcomes in our schools. This is, he's asking if that is true, because he ends by saying, ask Bagoma if this is true.
Obviously, right now as we talk, the teachers are in schools, the teachers are teaching, but they are not teaching the way they are expected to teach. Because teachers are human beings, and therefore they have feelings. So, where they feel they are not given fair treatment, then their minds are always thinking about that. And therefore, the outcomes of the learning, teaching learning process will be affected. And in all this, it is the innocent Ugandan child who is suffering. And that's why it should be an issue for every Ugandan. If you look at it as a teacher's issue, you should know that teaching conditions are learning conditions. And therefore, when the teachers are happy and enjoying their work, the learners are happy and enjoying the learning. And therefore, you will get very good learning outcomes. But a situation where you find teachers are uncomfortable, and even when they want to talk, you come out to intimidate them. You have the capacity, the authority and the power to intimidate the teachers, but you don't have the power and authority to preside over them to do what they are expected to do. Teachers can be in class when they are not teaching, and therefore the only issue is address the error that was made in public service and then expect service delivery.
Better outcomes. Thank you so much, Mr. Baguma. You're always insightful on matters education and matters teachers. So thank you so much.
You're welcome, madam. And thank you for always inviting us to share.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for being a part of Good Morning Uganda. Hopefully your children have gone back to school or they will go back anytime this week. Thank you for always doing this with us every single morning. Now, I will see you again tomorrow at 6:30. Good Morning Uganda continues with sports updates. Stick around.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
It's our mission to secure your money.
Protecting your money is as important as earning it. It is for this reason that the Deposit Protection Fund of Uganda, DPF, was established by the government of Uganda to provide deposit protection to customers of regulated financial institutions. In the unlikely event that your commercial bank, credit institution or microfinance deposit-taking institution fails, the DPF will pay you up to 10 million Uganda shillings. Keep your personal information such as national identification number, mobile phone or an alternative bank account updated with your banker. Terms and conditions apply. For more information, contact DPF at Aha Towers, Plot 7 Lodell Road, Kampala. Call 0312 206 400 or visit our website at www.dpf.or.ug.
We are the DPF. We protect your money. Protection Fund of Uganda.
In a nation hungry for truth, a world where every story matters, there exists a beacon of trust and reliability. For decades, they've been our voice and our window to the world, holding the mirror of our history. With 4 TV stations and 11 radio channels spanning 27 languages, they stand as guardians of information, defenders of truth. With Mascari Heritage Advantage, they uphold every citizen's right to reliable and free information. Their archived stories shaped our past and illuminate our present. Yet now, as new challenges arise and the world evolves, their mission faces its greatest test yet. Be part of our journey and let's navigate the unknown, uncover the untold, and safeguard our
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Mabega body play yamaani ekirese wano olukuŋŋaana lw'abannamawulire olwaleero tusobyaga tuli wano Power Body Fitnesses Gym lwaki tuli wano nti ngenda kuzanya empaka ezigenda okubeera eza pulo yange esoose ng'aba Power Body Fitness Gym bwe bataddemu ssente buli kimu okubanga ngenda empaka zigenda kubeera Dubai zigenda okubeera empaka za nsi yonna buli yeetegese obulungi ngawulira nti kati Mr. Uganda, Mr. Kenya, Mr. America, Mr. Ani bonna ng'olirwedde ensi yo ensi gye bwe yeesiga yagenda n'azeetabamu zempaka tugenda kubeera nga twolesa muscles kubeera nga tuzimbya muscles wetuti abasinga tebakitegeera naye tugenda kubeera gino gye bayita emifumbi mu Luganda tugenda kubeera nga tuzimbya muscle ani asinga muscles ennene bino si bya bunene wabula bya muscle lutalo lwa muscles kye baagala ani asinga wabetaaga muscle nga nkama nga temuli mazzi temuli masavu nga ate entemeeteme nga kati woolaba nti biceps oziraba nti zisasa yeyawula ezo ze muscle lutalo lwengendamu olwo olunaku ndya enkoko 3 ezenjokye ndya emimonde mayoni muwogo omuceru gwa
This Trossard, first touch is a good one. Now Martinelli could be in here. Still going, Gabriel Martinelli! Oh, so close! Can't believe he ain't finished it. He's done everything right. His first touch from that Trossard pass inside was lovely. It's flicked on. And Isak's in here, and he couldn't miss. Newcastle have taken the lead in this semi-final, and it's Alexander Isak again.
Yeah, well, it just dribbles through the Arsenal defence from that free kick, doesn't it? And he finds himself one-on-one with the keeper. It's a lovely finish, but I did notice a couple of quick looks back at the referee's assistant to see if there was any considerations for offside. I don't think there was.
Isak back to Murphy. Into Isak again. He shoots, is saved. The rebound's in. Anthony Gordon couldn't miss, and Newcastle have doubled their lead.
Yeah, he sneaks in round the back post, Gordon, but it's all about Isak there. And that's what I think Arsenal are missing, someone who stands up in the box as a target. Look at him make his way into the box. He ain't worried about going supporting the ball, puts a great shot in, and it's Timber who can't get it away at the far post. Gordon's on his case.
It's not happening for Arsenal at the moment. Timber, can they find a moment of inspiration? Havertz. Cross to Flex. Oh, great chance! Oh, it's gone wide. Kai Havertz was in there. It was almost slow motion, but it's gone off target.
Yeah, he's headed it onto his own shoulder. He's mistimed it. It's looping down on him, but misses the ball and heads it onto his own shoulder. Yeah, deflection there from the Trossard cross.
Well, good morning. I'm in here for Ruben Pima Chivirango, who will hopefully be back tomorrow to give you more from the world of sports. And the game that has started off this morning, bit of the sports update, was the first leg between Arsenal and Newcastle at the Emirates in the EFL Cup, or the Carabao Cup, the English Football League Cup 2025. Now, for this current season, Arsenal, Newcastle, Liverpool and Spurs have already made the last 4 of the tournament, and tonight we shall be having the first finalist out of the 2, as Arsenal will be away at St James's Park against Newcastle. Now, Newcastle come into this game with an upper hand, simply because they have a 2-0 advantage, and in the same regard, they are also at home at St James's Park. All they need to do is win or draw to qualify. Now, Arsenal, to qualify after that defeat at the Emirates, will have to defeat Newcastle by 3 goals to nil or more. And if the game ends 2-0, it is likely to head into penalties to choose who will be a finalist. Tomorrow, the other game will be played between Liverpool and Tottenham Hotspurs. But for now, today at 11 p.m., that is a game that you should be looking out for, as Arsenal will be away at St. James's Park to play against Newcastle. Arsenal, highly favourites to win this game, but however, chances are still very minimal for them to qualify if at all they do not defeat Newcastle by 3 goals or more in that tough semi-final second leg in the Carabao Cup. The first leg, of course, goals from Alexander Isak and, of course, Anthony Gordon were enough for Newcastle to seal their victory away at the Emirates. Now, looking into some bit of the other action, the NBA results as of today early morning, some of the games that transpired, including the Mavericks and the 76ers. The 76ers were able to defeat the Mavericks by 118 to 116. And then the Knicks did defeat the Raptors by 121 to 115. And then the Miami Heat, who were at home, were defeated by the Bulls by 133 to 124 points. The Pacers were defeated by the Trailblazers by 112 to 89. And then the Celtics defeated the Cavaliers by 112 to 105. The Houston Rockets lost at home to the Nets at 97 to 99. Then the LA Lakers, who have been in the news for the past few weeks, defeated the Clippers by 122 to 97 points there. Now, looking into the fixtures that you can look out for the NBA fans, tomorrow morning, the Bucks will be at home to the Hornets at 3 a.m. The Spurs will be taking on the Hawks at 3 a.m. as well. The Grizzlies will be taking on the Raptors at 3:30. The Bulls will be taking on the Timberwolves at 4 a.m. and the Cavaliers will be taking on the Pistons at 3 a.m. Then the Miami Heat will be taking on the 76ers at 3:30. The Wizards will be entertaining the Nets at 3:30 a.m. as the Pelicans and the Nuggets will be going head-to-head at 5. And then the Suns will be taking on the Thunder at 5:30. The Warriors and the Jazz will be playing at 5 a.m. and the Magic will be at home to the Kings, and that game will be coming in at 6 a.m. But also, that mentioned as we are summing up with the sports news, more developments coming in from the NBA after that famous trade that has been making headlines. It has come to the understanding from the NBA world that the Dallas Mavericks might have a plan, and this particular plan comes after making what many considered one of a downright terrible trade, in which the Mavericks, of course, sold to the Los Angeles Lakers their star man in Anthony Davis. Now they might have their Doncic replacement. Rather, after selling their star man in Doncic, many do believe they will be able to have a replacement lined up. The Athletics' David Aldridge, Sam Amick, and Anthony Slater reported that the Mavericks' newest target is the Phoenix Suns superstar Kevin Durant, who is on the high demand for the Dallas Mavericks. And the league sources say that the Dallas Mavericks have dreams of adding Durant to Davis, Curry, Irving, and of course, while the likelihood of Dallas pulling this off now appears unlikely, the mere idea of Durant joining Dallas star-studded group sheds new light on the thinking of the Mavericks general manager, that is Nico Harrison, after he was roundly ridiculed for the Doncic deal, according to what is being reported. Now, Dallas is not alone in this. They added in their report that the Houston Rockets are also among the teams that are highly interested in trading for Durant. Now, this report also refutes Jack Fisher's earlier report that Dallas was not interested in Durant or Jimmy Butler for that particular matter. And of course, one of the biggest news that has been happening in the NBA is the fact that Luka Doncic switched from the Dallas Mavericks to the Los Angeles Lakers. Ooh. And one of the biggest trade news that has been happening from the NBA in the past few hours and of course, the past few days actually from the NBA. Well, that does it for sports news this morning. Coming up here on Good Morning Uganda is the GMU Extra, and Robert Chirabonyi will be coming at the top of the hour to lead the conversations thereafter. And of course, tomorrow we shall be back at 6:30 a.m. with the latest, and Ruben will be here with the sports news to take you through what has been transpiring from the world of sport, NBA, basketball, and football, and then other trending sports out there. Good morning.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
In a nation hungry for truth, a world where every story matters, there exists a beacon of trust and reliability. For decades, they've been our voice and our window to the world, holding the mirror of our history. With 4 TV stations and 11 radio channels spanning 27 languages, they stand as guardians of information, defenders of truth. With Mascari Heritage Advantage, they uphold every citizen's right to reliable and free information. Their archive stories shaped our past and illuminate our present. Yet now, as new challenges arise and the world evolves, their mission faces its greatest test yet. Be part of our journey and let's navigate the unknown, uncover the untold, and safeguard our future together. Tune into your public broadcaster, for it is the intersection of trust and truth. Because to UBC, your story, every story, and every voice matters. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
It's our mission to secure your money.
Protecting your money is as important as earning it. It is for this reason that the Deposit Protection Fund of Uganda, DPF, was established by the government of Uganda to provide deposit protection to customers of regulated financial institutions. In the unlikely event that your commercial bank, credit institution or microfinance deposit-taking institution fails, the DPF will pay you up to 10 million Uganda shillings. Keep your personal information such as national identification number, mobile phone or an alternative bank account updated with your banker. Terms and conditions apply. For more information, contact DPF at Aha Towers, Plot 7 Lodell Road, Kampala. Call 0312 206 400 or visit our website at www.dpf.or.ug.
We are the DPF. We protect your money. Protection Fund of Uganda.
Junko. Yo. What? Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a poultry project, and now things are moving.
Junko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. But what you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
Coming soon on UBC. Are you ready to take your fitness journey to the next level? Join the Sweat Squad by Sion. Coming soon to UBC TV. with expert guidance, cutting-edge workouts, and a supportive community. You'll be unstoppable.
I'd love to take this opportunity to thank our President, Yoweri Kaguta Turihabura Museveni, by coming up with a Myoga program. We started in 2021 as Kasui Parish Carpenters and Myoga Circle. When we received this amount of 30 million, we had a problem, we had a challenge of machines. We used to carry our wood and we would carry it up to Waise to be worked on. So when we got this chance, we are able to buy machines to ease our work of carpentry. At the moment, we are a number composed of 140 members. We have the women who come in and do saloon chairs. We have the men doing 3-drawer tables, 2-drawer tables, and different kind of furniture. Before the Myoga program came in, we had a lot of crimes taking place on this road. When this Myoga program came up, we managed to collect these youths. We gave them hope that you can change from stealing, and we can give you skill so that you be someone in the society that will even help another person.
Kansoke ddala okwebaza omukulembeze w'eggwanga olw'emirimu emirungi gy'ataddemu ngaffe abavubuka. Nze nno nze omu ku abo abaabeeranga ku kkubo okwo emisana n'ekiro ng'oluusi olw'okuba naffe tunoonya ekyokulya nga gwakiyina oba mmwe twakiyitanga b'amalala bagenda beerabisa nga tubagwamu munnange era nga tuba tulina obikuggyako naffe tetubaawo. Naye munnange neebaza kyamani wange wa wano yankwatako nno wamu ne bannange twatandika okukozesa mashini zino tandika okuwawula okuganda okukola dizayini emmeeza zino tuzifulumya entebe bwe ziti tulina emirimu gye tutandikira kangu okugeza ng'okufulumya obumotoka buno. Kano akamotoka n'omwana omuto w'emyaka 5 akafulumya. Bw'ova mu kufulumya akamotoka kano owawula okukwata oluwawu n'owawula emmeeza ng'eno n'ebeera smooth. Oluvaawo nga bakutwala ku mashini eno olubaawo lukolebwa oti lutambe bwe ntyo nkisabye nasaabisasulira najja wano ne baŋŋamba President Museveni bino ebyuma yabituwa byammwe mulina okuba nga mubikozesa omukisa ne ngutwala era neebaza kuba kati newe mba nvudde wano ne ŋŋenda ewalala newe ŋŋenda Sudan nsobola okusigala nga ndi mulimu gwe gumu ogw'obubazi ne gumbeezaawo wamu ne famire yange. Ku savingi wange ebimu ku byentereka bwe bampa akasente kange nfulumya emmeeza yange eno bino kiri wano si kya kiyamaani waffe nedda wano tulinawo itemu zaffe kati ku ssaawa eno zonjogera wano ninawo emmeeza ezange 5 n'entebe 12 ezitambulira ku mmeeza ezo nga zange era nga zo ne baba bazituuze wali sente baziwanze oluusi emirimu n'emirala ne gijja ne bagala twafunye omulimu bwe guti mujje mufulumye entebe wano zino bwe zitimu gakola sente bwe kityo emyoga gino kuba nagyegattako bingi enfunye edda nze nalinga sisobola kusasula nnyumba gye mbeeramu era nja kunoonya gye ŋŋenda okusula mu mifulejje era eyo mifulejje gye ŋŋenda okusanga ote oli ajja atamidde nga ye ate alina n'essimu gy'amulisa. Kale ebintu ng'ebyo nze kati ninawe nsula era saawa weziwera nti zino saawa zakwebaka olwo nga nsimbula nga ŋŋenda neebaka nawasa tadde n'abaana nno munnange sebo kulembeze weebale bageto yuti mwenna gye muli wabweru eyo temutya temwerumaluma nkata temudda mu biki temulobera mu projekiti za gavumenti kuba zino projekiti ziriwo kutuyamba ffe zaffe zirina kutuyimusa kuteeka ku ddaala ddala bwe lwonazoberamu abalala bazeegaseemu ffe nga tukola ki bwebibabwe ebityo.
Because of this Myoga program, we have been able to pick such different youth, mentor them, we train them. After learning, they also go up even start their businesses. We have people buying from us, schools, We have factories, companies. They come and give us very juicy contracts. And out of that, that's how we've managed to accumulate this amount of saving of 70 million. So I would love to thank the President of Uganda that because of the Emyoga program, we've done what they call mindset change. Those who used to think of going for prostitution, we've captured them and changed their mind. They are here trying to do work, trying to get skills. Those used to steal, they are also here trying to get skills. We have been job seekers, but now we are no longer job seekers. We are job creators.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Good morning and thank you very much for being with us on UBC TV. Welcome to the Extra. I'm Robert Chirabo Nyonyintono. Now, for a long time, we've had a challenge of garbage in Kampala. And a few people have come up with a number of solutions. Some are finding ways of how we can use the garbage we have to solve the problem of cooking. And many have turned this garbage into a form of charcoal. Let me use something that could be not very complicated for anyone to understand. I know you've come across people who are mixing charcoal, ash, and some things, and they are coming with brickstones for you to cook. Now, this morning, I have a gentleman, a researcher, a medical doctor, by the way, that has focused in doing research in various aspects, who has come up with a solution of how they can turn, or we can turn garbage into fertilizers. And many have been able to buy these machines, many have been able to buy this fertilizer. But in case you have just joined, I'm Robert Chirabo Nyonyintono, and this is Good Morning Uganda Extra, an extension of Good Morning Uganda, because we are always here from 6:30. And join me welcome my guest, a researcher, a medical doctor, a man who is very passionate about his country to ensure that the garbage problem, we can find how useful it is, and we turn the problem into money, into a blessing, into a form of employment, and at the end of the day, it's no more in existence. Dr. Bawera Frank Chiwanuka, who happens to be the CEO or founder of Bawera's Center for Excellency. You're most welcome, Doctor.
Yeah, thank you very much, and good morning, viewers. I've been introduced and very happy to be here. And I believe this is a blessing, and we all Ugandans and those that love Uganda, they need to put an extra air on, what we're going to discuss today, because garbage is money. That's what I can say. Garbage, money.
Now, first, let me understand, when we talk about Bawela's Center for Excellency, you're a medical doctor to begin with. Not these, when we talk about doctors, we must be very specific.
Yes, sure.
Because there are these doctors, herbalists and all that. But you're a professional medical doctor.
Exactly.
Now, how do you come into this issue of innovation and into the line of garbage, among other research that you have done?
Yeah, actually, I'm going to try to be very brief. It's a long story, but those of you who know me, I went to Germany. And when I went to Germany, I was that kind of person who really used to like a lot of IT, and by the time I did really go to Germany was just we're getting to the K2 or YK2, something. We used to call it 2000. So because I went at the beginning of the millennium. We were using these Google computers of 1998, Microsoft and something like that. So I got a scholarship, then I went. And when I was in Germany, that's when I realized, because they also didn't know whether the computers are going to work the next morning, 2000, yeah, you know, first 2000. So when they saw that with the whatever technologies they did, they saw it was working. So all of us who came in, you know, they were like, okay, you're going to be doing ABCD, ABCD. And I liked a lot doing, first of all, internet research, learning new things. And when I got to the university, my professor, very funny, who used to ride a bicycle, and I was coming from Uganda. By that time, we had those Pajeros and something. And I was like, this gentleman is a dean and he's riding a bicycle? And I was a little bit perturbed, but even my colleague, you know, Nigerian colleagues, Ghana, you know, people from Africa, Kenya, actually, I remember Maina, he used to say, he's now a doctor also, but you know, this guy is funny. But the day he came with an Audi Model 2000, that's when everybody was excited. And some people know me, they say, you like cars or something. No, I like technology. I like new things, new idea. I like to learn new things. So bottom line, I visited this professor. He had a farm, and he's still living, but now retired. On his farm, he had all what we now call 3D. He could make his own bearings or whatever that you call it for his tractors, design all these things. So I decided that I will not be going for, you know, outs and people go to clubs. I used to use my Saturdays to go to his 3D, by that time it was, I think, a 2D, to learn how to design. And slowly by slowly, he captured me into, because he was the dean of the medical school at Münster University. So I got there when I was in IT and getting specialized information, but then I joined what he was teaching. And I liked the digitalized medical, because that's when they started telemedicine and all these things. By that time, we didn't have any of these things here. You know, understanding the ultrasound machine, MRI, and all that kind of thing. So I went into that, and then I studied. I went to medical school. You know, like somebody will even say, "Oh no, but you know, we know when you went and all this." When I was there, I gave all my mind and my soul. And don't forget, I had studied in Karema Boys High School in Kenya. It was still the same. They had very good lab, very good IT things, and it was just in the 80s. So, but I still used to like that. You know, everybody could say, he's going to be a scientist somehow. So, to cut the whole long story short, I joined, and when the chance came to apply for, now that I'm an endocrinologist analyst, medical persons can understand, and then I specialized in the fertility section. But now, as time went on, they pushed me into research a lot. So I kept on treating my patients, but I was given specific